Yeah, actually there was a whole big doodah about the title of the book, because they wanted to call it something much more banal, and I got together with a bunch of friends of mine. I said, we got to find a fun title. And suddenly we came up with this one, called the publisher, and they said, oh God, no. In 1969, Raquel Welch met a rising star on a movie set in Spain. At first, she was stunned by his swagger, but when he started stealing her spotlight, she panicked. She tried everything to outshine him. Then he made one disgusting comment about what he'd find in her pants. That made Raquel hate him forever. 3 years later, they were cast together. Again, the studio had to rewrite the entire script because she refused to be in the same room with him. Hollywood had never seen anything like it. Raquel Welch was born Joe Raquel Tejado on September 5, 1940, in Chicago. Her father was Armando Tejada, a Bolivian aeronautical engineer, and her mother was Josephine Hall, a woman of English descent whose ancestors came to America on the Mayflower. When she was just 2 years old, her family left Chicago and moved to San Diego. That one move changed everything. San Diego gave her sun, open skies, and the chance to grow up in a place more accepting of differences. She didn't know it yet, but this city was the first step toward stardom. The ocean, the diversity, the nearness to Hollywood, it all shaped her. The girl who once stood out for being different would soon become a symbol of American beauty. But behind that calm move, things at home were slowly falling apart. Her parents' marriage was rocky. As she entered high school, the tension grew worse. Her parents fought more often, and then, just like that, they divorced. For Raquel, it was more than just a split. It was a signal. Love wasn't stable. Family wasn't safe. That pain would echo through the rest of her life. She would go on to marry 4 times, but none would last. Even in Hollywood, where chaos is normal, her personal life stood out for its deep unrest. Still, she kept pushing forward. As a child, she trained in ballet for 10 straight years. She dreamed of being on the big stage, not in front of cameras, but under theater lights dancing. But when she turned 17, she was told something that shattered her. Ballet companies said her body wasn't right for professional dancing. They didn't care about her talent or her discipline, just her shape. That rejection hit hard. But she didn't break. Instead, she pivoted. If ballet didn't want her, maybe the world of film and fashion would. That same year, she began entering beauty contests, and she started winning fast. At just 14, she won Miss Photogenic and Miss Contour. From there, the titles kept coming. She won Miss La Jolla, then Miss San Diego, and eventually she was crowned Maid of California. She hadn't even graduated high school yet. These weren't just pretty trophies. Each win gave her confidence. Each title gave her a new headline. By the time she was 18, people were already whispering that she might be the next big thing. But instead of running toward fame, she shocked everyone. She got married. Some reports say she was 18. Others claim she was just 16. Either way, it was a curveball. She had theater scholarship offers. She had a chance to start acting professionally, but she chose love. Or maybe escape. She married James Welch, her high school sweetheart. For a young woman with the world at her feet, it was a strange turn. Soon after, life became even more complicated. She became a mother. Her son Damon was born in 1959. Her daughter Tanny came in 1961. She was barely 21 with 2 children and a husband who was gone for long stretches of time. James worked as a fisherman, often out at sea. That left Raquel alone, raising 2 babies with no help. There were no nannies, no family nearby, no support, just her diapers and exhaustion. Hollywood seemed far away, but she didn't quit. She found a small crack in the wall and pushed her way through. In the early 1960s, she got a job at a local San Diego TV station, KFMBB, as a weather presenter. It might sound small, but it was huge. It kept her on camera. It kept her in public view, and it gave her a sliver of hope that maybe, Just maybe, the dream wasn't dead. She'd stand in front of the weather map by day and tuck her kids in at night. It was a balancing act she pulled off with grit. At just 22 years old, Raquel Welch made a decision that would haunt her forever. She walked away from her marriage in 1962, leaving behind James Welch, her high school sweetheart and the father of her 2 children. She later called it the most painful decision of my entire life. But it wasn't just about love. It was about survival. Back then, a woman leaving her husband for a career was nearly unthinkable. Society expected women to stay quiet, stay married, and stay home. But Raquel couldn't. She wanted more than a house and a husband. She wanted Hollywood, fame, a future she could call her own. That decision came with a heavy price. She left the comfort of marriage and stability and found herself alone in Dallas, raising 2 children with no roadmap and no safety net to keep food on the table. She worked long nights as a cocktail waitress in smoky bars, dealing with drunks, gropers, and bills that never seemed to end. She smiled through it all, holding trays with grace, while her dreams burned quietly in the back of her mind. By day, she found work as a model for Neiman Marcus, posing under bright lights while wondering how long she could hold it all together. It wasn't glamorous. It was pure survival. Every shift, every photo shoot, every tired morning with no sleep and hungry kids. It was all part of the climb. Her big break wouldn't come by accident. It was calculated, strategic, and a little heartbreaking. Born Jo Raquel Tejada, she was proud of her Bolivian heritage. But Hollywood didn't want a Latina leading lady. The roles available were insulting at best. Maids, mistresses, background characters with no story and no future. So, when her manager, Patrick Curtis, suggested she keep the name Welch from her ex-husband, she agreed. It didn't sound Latina. It sounded safe. Wide enough for casting directors to give her a second look. That one choice, keeping her married name, changed everything. It opened doors. It got her auditions,